finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Good evening, professional colleagues, friends of our great institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, our students who are learning and gradually looking for a day to become a member of the institute. We recognize you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start by welcoming you to a new month, the month of March, the third month of the year 2023. And it's with great pleasure to say, by God's grace, we'll continue to move and march forward. Today, being Thursday, the second day of the month of March, I've come with a topic that can advance you and I, knowing fully well that for every one now, we are actually diversifying not just the core accounting, but another areas where we can have issue of revenue generation. And we'll be discussing about Cama 2020 and the returns filing requirement. I'm sure we all know how important this is to each and every one of us. And to do justice to this, I have with me this evening Barrister Olumide Ologe. He is a lawyer of over 20 years post-call. He worked in the Corporate Affairs Commission for about 18 years. During his stint at the commission, he worked in various departments, especially in the registry and compliance department. He served as compliance officer for more than 10 years, where he advised on some legal issues bordering on shares, registration of charges, negative pledges, etc. He served in many committees in the Corporate Affairs Commission, including in in-house Cama Review Committee from 2012 to 2020, an associate member of ICAN, that is the Institute of Chartered Secretary and Administration of Nigeria, and also an associate member of BRIPAN. Is currently the lead partner in Justin Ruby LP, an Abuja-based law firm that specializes in legal practice and consultancy. I'm sure somebody who has worked for 20 years with CSC definitely, have deep understanding of our topic of discuss for today. But before I go on a very short break, it's important I let you know that the platform is still open for each and every one of us to promote our goods and services as we proceed in the year. Don't forget, this is the third month and I have not seen your advert. You'll be doing us justice by contacting the Corporate Communication Department or gives direction on the cost. And I can tell you, it's what we call a very, very small amount, because the viewers of this program is globally connected, and you can never say where they will be requesting for your services. But let me quickly go on a very short break, pay some bills, and give you some information. And when I'll be coming in, I will come in with our guest as we do justice to the topic of today. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. welcome back, and welcome back. Like I promised you, that after that short break, I'll be coming in with our guest, and he's here with us, Barrister Olumide Ologe. Good evening, and welcome on ICAN on Air.
Good evening, the anchor person, and good evening, viewers.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to have you on our show today, Thursday, the second day of the month of March. And we'll be discussing Cama 2020 and the returns filing requirement. Let me start this way, Barrister Olumide. Cama is one piece of legislation that the professional accountant hold as high esteem. It provides major guide into how professional accountants should carry out their activities within the ambit of the law. We are particularly glad to be hosting a great man who has served in with the CSC on the show today. And our global audience are actually itching to share from your reservoir of knowledge. But let me start this way. Can you give us a brief insight into the major changes of Cama 2020 when compared with the Cama 1990? Barrister Olumide, can you hear me? Barrister Olumide, am I being heard?
Hello?
Okay, I hope you heard my question, sir. There seems to be a little technical glitch from there. Okay, I
Can you
think
hear
it
me
is
now?
stable now. Okay, better. So you can proceed, sir.
Okay.
Did you hear my question, Barrister Olumide?
The companies and allied matters, I think I did. I heard your question. I heard
Okay,
it.
proceed, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, as we may be aware, has redefined business practice and regulation here. And particularly when we talk about the areas of like the MSMEs, regulations, stakeholders engagement, ownership information, as well as insolvency resolutions. So all of these have been achieved by the Cama 2020. And before I go into the innovations of Cama 2020, I would like to briefly talk about the principal objectives of Cama 2020. The Cama 2020 is aimed at achieving some of these enumerated objectives. I will talk about, for instance, the removal of burdensome pre and post entry requirements and regulations. The second, in the the third descriptions. It has also enhanced investor protection and protection. So these are just briefly the highlights of what the objectives of Cama 2020 are. But specifically going to your question, that is by looking at what Cama 2020 as the improvement it has brought to when we just started to Cama 1990. For instance, number one, we talk about a single company, or single, could call it a single member company. Like this, under this particular heading, we'll talk about a private company, because a private company has been allowed to, under Cama 2020, to be registered with a single member, and also it can have a single director. This is different from what was obtainable in under Cama 1990. We didn't have that kind of process available. We also talk about, of course, we know that a small company cannot also have it's a way it's obligated to have a company secretary, because that's one of the objectives of the having a single member company. Also, company limited by guarantee. Under the new legislation, Cama 2020, companies limited by guarantee, under section 26 of the Act, which is Cama 1990, companies limited by guarantee could be formed, but it cannot be without the consent of the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation. The same thing is also obtainable under Cama 2020, but there are some differences. I will just mention the salient one, which is the fact that under Cama 2020, the power of the Attorney General of the Federation to grant consent or approval to registration of a company limited by guarantee is not in the cannot be exercised in 2020. DO is doing such that where the commission has an application to register a company limited by guarantee to the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation, and it has been acknowledged there with 30 days, within 30 days after the receipt of that application in the office of the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation. If there is no response from the Federal Ministry of Justice, then the applicant has the right to do publication in 3 newspapers. Mm-hmm. So once the publication is made in 3 newspapers, that's national dailies. That's how the Act puts it. 3 national dailies. And there is no objection. As long as there is no objection to the publication made, then the commission can proceed to register such application for to register limited by guarantee. This is like an improvement compared to what we had in 1990, because under 1990, right, they seemed not to have any remedy to that. So as far as the Act is concerned, was concerned, then we also talk about the share capital.
Barrister Olumide, let me interject you there if you can hear me. We have actually got some comparison from the 2020 Cama and 1990 Cama, and we can see that there is serious improvement in some of the legislation. But permit me to proceed, and I'll be taking this second question that looks into the filing requirement. To know in specific terms, what are the major changes that we have in the filing requirement when we compare the two Cama, that is Cama 2020 and Cama 1990? What are the differences in the filing requirements?
Under the Cama Cama 2020, we have, for instance, a situation whereby small companies have been given some incentives, so to speak. Small companies, by the way, the qualification of small companies is contained under Section 394 of Cama 2020. So, like as I said earlier, the small companies that Cama 2020 are exempted from their exempted filing audited or financial statements while filing annual returns. And this is a reasonable thing, because in the previous act, that is the Cama 1990, there was no such provision for small companies. But due to the need to encourage the growth of our economy further, which is, of course, dominated by the MSMEs. Of course, the small companies are under the MSMEs. So it was the crafters of the act
Barrister Olumide, there seems to be a little technical glitch from the network over there. But if you can hear me, let me quickly go on a very short break to see how we can fix in the technical glitches that we are having. We sincerely want to appeal to our viewers. I'm sure you know the infrastructure is being worked upon. And I'll quickly go on a very short break while we try to put together the technical glitches that we are having at that particular end. We are here this evening, and we are talking on Cama 2020 and the return filing requirements. And I've been guesting Barrister Olumide Ologe, and will definitely do justice to it. Please stay tuned. I'll be right back in a very short while.
As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Welcome back, our viewers, and we have joining us again back our guest for today, Barrister Olumide Ologe. Yeah, welcome back, Barrister.
Thank you.
Can you hear me? Okay, so you're trying.
Thank you. I'm hearing you.
Yeah, you are discussing with us the major changes in the filing requirement when we compare the two previous legislation. That's Cama 2020 and Cama 1990. Barrister Olumide, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you now.
Okay, so please proceed with the filing requirement, the major changes.
Okay. So now, as I was saying before, under the filing requirement is basically for the small companies, because presently presently constituted under Cama 2020. There is no obligation for a small company to hold an AGM, for instance. There is no obligation for a small company to have a secretary. It on appointment of secretary. There is also no obligation for a small company to have an auditor appointed. That has no obligation to file a financial file with this not
Barrister Olumide Ologe, if you can hear me. If you can hear me, Barrister Olumide Ologe, the network seems to be giving us some challenges from your end there. I don't know if it is something we can adjust a slight location. Possibly we can improve the connectivity. Are you in now?
I'm hearing you now.
Okay, so just proceed.
I'm hearing you.
It's breaking. It's breaking intermittently, but you can proceed, sir.
Okay. We also have a biannual requirement. There is a biannual statement for incorporated trustees that all incorporated trustees are expected to file under Cama 2020. These were not present under Cama 1990. This requirement was not there under Cama 1990. All the that was required for an incorporated trustee was to first annual returns.
Great.
But
Great.
as from the commencement of Cama 2020, incorporated trustees are obligated to file by annual statements, and these are filed twice a year, from January 1st to June 30th of every year, then from 1st July to 31st of December every year. And also, let me add that as from the commencement of Cama 2020 as well, incorporated trustees are mandated or obligated to file financial statements along with their annual returns. Not only filing of annual returns, they are meant to file financial statements along with. So those are the significant change in terms of filing.
Thank you very much, Barrister Loge. Even though the network seems to be breaking, but I believe that our audience can pick some of the changes that occur in the filing requirement between Cama 2020 and Cama 1990. I want to put this question across to you before I open my outline for question from our audience. The amended act seems to give commendable cushion. Looking at some of the things you have said, exemption that they've granted them, and some other things to small businesses, even in the filing requirement. Do you share this cushion are sufficient? Can we say that the cushion are sufficient to encourage SMEs in the Nigerian business environment? And what other condition should be given to SMEs aside the current one that we've seen?
Thank you very much. As I've noted earlier, the Cama 2020 has helped to grow the MSMEs, which small companies in Nigeria are part of. In terms, of course, when we look at it in terms of having a small company registered, or is it in relation to being exempted from filing while filing annual returns, or in terms of being exempted from filing appointment of secretary or appointing secretary itself, because these are incentives that are given to small companies in Cama to reduce the cost of running the company, because these are companies that are, like, most of them are startups, but we have to, when we talk about incentivizing small companies or MSMEs in Nigeria, we have to look beyond Cama itself. Because when we talk about companies operation in Nigeria, it goes beyond Cama. We have to look at other areas that a company will be required, or small companies in particular will be required to be incentivized. Like, for instance, when it comes to or to permit business permits procured and some other things. Are there, are the costs of procuring such are friendly? So we have to look at those which has given kind of to a small, we have to look at other, particularly by state governments, because small, this, so Company and Allied Matters Act is a federal enactment. So, but the state, because the state also regulates businesses, so we need to look at laws within the state to make sure that they are friendly and that they can encourage the survival of small companies operation in Nigeria.
Great, great. And even though there are little glitches with network this evening, but one thing I can guarantee is that we can pick few things even from the delivery. And let me use this opportunity to sincerely apologize to our listeners that, well, such do happen once in a while. But I think, but we are having slight stability even from the network. Barrister Lumide, let me proceed with this question by saying that currently Nigeria was ranked 131 in the Ease of Doing Business Index, and the narrative surrounding the ranking in such that country that rank between 1 and 20 provides more friendly regulation for business to triumph. How do you think the changes in Cama will change the narrative of ease of doing business index in Nigeria? You just alluded to the fact that aside Cama, there are other things. Can you just propose some other things aside Cama that can assist in improving the ranking of Nigeria in the ease of doing business index?
Thank you very much. As I was saying earlier on, if we look at, for instance, uh, acquisition of land, because uh, the uh, the companies we are talking about, they need offices to to of course that some of them even need to acquire land. Some may, like for instance, on the issue of to, like, some of them will need to get bank facilities, you know. So like for instance, on the issue of bank facilities, we talk about the interest rate. The interest rate for procuring bank facility, is it friendly? So we need to look at that area, because it should not be that it will the neck of the it should the what we are trying to say is that the putting, as in getting those things that are needed by those companies, those small companies in particular, the MSMEs, because they are the ones that grow our economy. An attempt to get them should not choke them, so that they will even extinct from the commercial space. So on the issue of interest rate, I think government needs to look at it and maybe grant a kind of interest rate that will be affordable to the companies that may want to take bank facilities. They're not about like issue of some goods or products that they are importing. So that the areas that we feel that
Barrister Lumide, let me interject your line of thought as you're actually alluding to some of the things that government need to do to improve the SMEs. The network seems to be having some glitches. I will quickly run on a very short break. Let me say to our viewers that are globally connected that the network seems not to be friendly this evening, possibly because we are preparing for the rainy season. Don't mind me, I'm just taking you out there. But one of the things that you can be guaranteed is that I'm sure when I reconnect back, when we reestablish connectivity with our guests, we expect that there will be slight improvement in the connectivity. I will go on a very short break. The break, when we resume back, I will take your question. I can say that we have one or two questions. I'll take few, and I want to believe that the network would have been friendly by the time we reestablish back. So please stay tuned. I'll be right back to continue the program.
As a finance professional in a disrupted business landscape, what does it take to be in demand? What does it take to attract great paying international roles? If you're an ICAN member, it'll just take one exam. That's all it takes to complete the globally recognized CIMA professional qualification and the internationally respected CGMA designation. As a CIMA member and a CGMA designation holder, employers will look at you as a finance professional, constantly acquiring new skills to add value to the business. That's why they'll be willing to pay premium to hire and retain you. If you have 5 years of relevant experience and are an ICAN member, you can directly sit for the final exam of the CIMA Professional Qualification, the Strategic Case Study Exam. Start studying the CIMA Professional Qualification. Prepare to make an impact.
Welcome back, and I still have with me today Barrister Olumide Ologe, and we've been talking about Cama 2020 and the returns filing requirement. Thank you and welcome back, Barrister Olumide.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, before I proceed, like I said, this is an interactive session. Let me quickly acknowledge our viewers who are connected all over the globe, both from the northern part of the country, the southern part, eastern and western part. And I'm welcoming their question as we have opened the portal for question and answer. Let me first recognize Prince Kunle Oyewole, who is asking, is it compulsory for NGO to file return just like other entity?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Prince Kunle Oyewole, for the question. You know, Cama is a statute, it's a legislation. So, and of course, you know, every provision of the act has a force of law. So, the straight answer to that question is that an NGO, because NGOs are registered under Part F of Company Act. Trustees, that's what they are classified, incorporated trustees. So under Part F of Company Act, mandated to file annual returns. And let me also add that one of the major reasons why filing of annual returns is compulsory is, apart from the fact that the law has already start provision for that. It is to see, it is to also know how transparent the organization is, and also to know their financial healthiness, because it's very, very important. So annual returns is statutory obligation that must be met by an NGO, to be specific now. Thank you.
Great. And I want to believe that Prince Kunle Oyewole has tapped that is statutory, and the NGOs are not exempted from making delivery and making their returns as expected. I quickly want to also go the question from Henry, who is saying that, sir, in your opinion, are there any benefit, especially to Nigeria economy as a whole, with Cama 1990 that have been trade off with the passing of 2020? Invariably saying, now that we have 2020, do we have benefit not only to individual but to Nigeria economy?
Of course, the economics of benefit 2020 are enormous. When we talk about we talk about the I had mentioned some, or maybe the network challenge we had. Like I said before, I called Jack. We also the benefits Cama 2020. Let me still enumerate some of them briefly. Number one, I talk about the removal of burdensome pre and post entity requirements and regulations. Like prior to Cama 2020, prior to Cama 2020, registration, you agree with me that to register registration of company was very burdensome and it was not seamless at all. But with Cama 2020, particularly as it relates to electronic filing of documents, so it really is the filing of documentation of entities in Nigeria, and of course it has greatly impacted on our economy. And also when we look at the reduction of entity and governance costs, because people will not want to hear, like you want to maybe you are a promoter or you want to register a company, you can write from, even you can start and finish the registration process right from the comfort of your home. So these are very, very important issues to economy. Let us not forget about this one, which is the promotion of integrity and transparency in company proceedings. Like we said earlier on, Cama 2020 has helped to promote, like, if you look at section 851, establishment of administrative proceedings committee, because the APC, which is Administrative Proceedings Committee, help in management or resolution of crisis, amongst others, that may occur between warring factions in the company. It may be between among members of the company, or between one company and the other. It may even be between one NGO. So it has really impacted on the economy at large.
Great. Sincerely speaking, if not for the network glitches that we are actually experiencing, We can see that Barrister Loge has been doing justice to the questions that have been tackling us. But the network has sincerely not been friendly. And I want to use this opportunity to sincerely appreciate Barrister Ologe for actually yielding this evening to be part of our program. One thing I can guarantee you is that this program, when next we did, we will definitely reach out to you, and we want to believe that by then we have a better connectivity. Thank you very much for sharing your evening with us. And to our viewers, before I yield the floor to close the program for today, let me quickly share a few announcements that we have with us. Like, for your institute, the March 2023 actual examination registration is now open. I'm sure for the ATS, we all know that this is the time. That is the another way of joining or being part of this profession. And the registration form has started. It has commenced and will come to a close by March 23rd. And the exam is due to commence for March 28th to March 29th. We want to encourage us in our respective places. While somebody is still waiting for admission, I'm sure he can start galvanizing with the ATS as provided by our institute. Also, the 21st conferment of fellowship ceremony, which is the highest status of our great institute. The portal also is up and is open. We encourage members who are due, that is, if you are 10 years and above, you can definitely apply for this. Like we all know, it's electronic and online registration, and we encourage our members to participate. For those that will be physically present, it's 140,000, and for those that will join virtually, 30,000. The ceremony itself is scheduled to host on Saturday, 1st April 2023, at the Landmark Center at Water Corporation Drive at Ayoride Street, Oniru, Victoria Island by 10 a.m. So we encourage you. It's good to be FC. I'm sure if you look at my name, it's boldly written there, and I'm proud to be a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of Nigeria. And finally, on my announcement today, let me state that the 2023 Annual Dinner and Award comes up on Saturday, May 6, 2023, and that will be happening in the evening by 5 p.m. At the Monarch Event Center, Ikate, in Lekki Expressway in Lagos. The fee is single 20,000, couples 30,000, and corporate table for 10 is 300,000. Definitely, you can contact the corporate communication. They will definitely provide support, because when we work, we must definitely enjoy ourselves and have a very beautiful dinner with the 58th president of our great institute. And finally, this I have to reserve to the last by encouraging you to pay your subscription to our institute. You and I understand that our subscription is due January 1st of every year. And here we are, the third month of the year 2023. For the associate member, it is 17,500, and for fellow, 32,500. And this is done electronically. So within few seconds, you connect to our our portal, you make your payment, and you get value immediately. On that note, I sincerely want to apologize for the few glitches that we have with our guest today, and that's why we are bringing the program to a close earlier than scheduled. But one thing I can assure you, that this is the month of March. We are marching forward, and come next week Tuesday, I can assure you, you will have the best like we used to have, both in terms of the internet connectivity and that of the guest. On that note, I want to bring the show to a close today. While I appreciate you that you continue to stay safe and continue to be security conscious as we move even in the new era that we've actually found ourselves. On that note, we have come to the end of the show for today. ICAN on Air, Thursday, second day of the month of March. And I remain your host, Olusegun Okwade. Please stay safe. I'll see you next week.